You guys, I'm absolutely buzzing to bring this video to you today because I'm going to talk you through how my 43-year-old client was able to increase his testosterone levels by 36% in just 3 months, which is absolutely mind-blowing. In case you don't know who I am, my name is Doug and I've been an online personal trainer and a nutritionist for over 5 years now. And in that time, I've helped well over 100 guys to optimize their testosterone levels, double their energy levels, and most importantly, to take control of their health with both hands once and for all. So I first connected with this client back in November of 2023. And being really honest, in his own words, he was not in a good way. He was really suffering with his energy levels. He was experiencing brain fog most days, but worst of all, his sex drive had gone through the floor, which is obviously not something you want as a man. And these are all the classic symptoms of someone who has low testosterone. So he went to the doctor and he got a blood test, and his suspicions were confirmed when he got the results. And the results came back and they said, well, I'm going to put them on the screen right now. His testosterone levels were suboptimal, which, let's be real, as a man, that word grinds on you. You do not want to be told you're suboptimal at anything. But I'm kind of glad they call it suboptimal, to be honest, because it's the kind of word that's going to get men to take action. It would certainly get me to take action if someone told me I was suboptimal at something. And his doctor offered him a course of TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. But fortunately, he had the good sense to decline it at the time. Now, TRT has its place. It's something that I will probably jump on in 5-10 years. I'm 36 years old now, but my testosterone levels are still fine. But as I get towards 45, maybe 50, if there's nothing I can do naturally, I will probably jump on TRT. It has its place. And some people do genuinely need it because their body just cannot produce enough testosterone. But this client wanted to see if he could naturally elevate his testosterone levels before going down the pharmacological route, the pharmaceutical route, that's the one, which is a very smart decision. And that's where we first connected. And I walked him through on a call the blueprint and the step-by-step process that we'd be using together to get his testosterone levels from suboptimal back to optimal. Now, I originally thought this would take 6 months, being completely honest, which is why his results are so mind-blowing. But being truthful to you guys, that is a reflection of his hard work, his discipline, his consistency, and I think most importantly, his faith in me and in this process. And now, as you can see, his testosterone levels are optimal. 36% increase in just 3 months. Guys, it is absolutely mind-blowing. So today, I want to talk you through the 3 big building blocks that we use together to help do that with his testosterone levels. Because a lot of guys these days, they focus on the minutiae. They focus on the stuff that's going to move the needle 1%. Tap water, seed oils, deodorant. And like I say, these things, if you were to stop drinking tap water, if you were to stop using deodorant, as weird as that might sound to you, and if you were to stop eating seed oils, yeah, let's be real, that is going to elevate your testosterone levels probably, but it's only going to do so by about 1 or 2%. The big building blocks, the stuff that's really going to move the needle, is what I would much rather people focus on. And the good thing is it's accessible to everybody. Everybody can do it. So let's get straight into it. First and foremost, guys, it is your sleep. Why? Because when you sleep, when you wake up from a deep restorative sleep, your endocrine system, your hormonal health, but it kind of weirdly came out, your hormonal health is all kind of brought back into balance. And we're not just talking your sex hormones, your testosterone, estrogen, all this stuff. We're talking your cortisol levels, we're talking your hunger hormones, we're talking all regulatory hormones, insulin, your glucagon, everything. It's just brought back into a nice, normal state where it's meant to be. If you are not sleeping well, this doesn't happen. It means you're reaching for highly palatable, high sugar foods. It means you're stressed out all day. Cortisol is obviously something that counteracts high testosterone as well, so it's not a good thing. Sleep is also when the human growth hormone is released. Human growth hormone, if you combine that with a progressively overloaded training program, is going to massively help you as well. So how are you going to get good sleep? Because I'm sure a lot of people would say, well, yeah, duh, I'd love to sleep better. And I'm not going to just sort of say, well, sleep 7 to 9 hours. What you want to focus on is sleep quantity and sleep quality. Let's be real. In the modern world with a stressful life that you've probably got, 9 hours is like some sort of godsend that may happen once in a blue moon. But if you can get 7 hours of high quality sleep consistently and using some regularity, this is going to hugely move the needle for you. So this means going to bed and waking up at the same time every single day, and it means trying to get high quality sleep. How are you going to do that? Well, a lot of that is down to your environment. So you want to be sleeping in a cold, dark, quiet room. So the colder, the darker, and the quieter you can get it, the deeper your sleep is going to be, okay, guys? I also advise people to sleep with their door open because it enables more oxygen to circulate, more fresh oxygen. If you think about it, you close the door, you're constantly, breathing out carbon dioxide. You're just going to have more carbon dioxide in the room and not enough oxygen, okay? So that is a fantastic one. Your sleep environment is hugely important. Another thing you can do with your sleep is implement something called the 3-2-1 protocol. This is where you stop eating 3 hours before you go to bed, you stop drinking water 2 hours before you go to bed, and you come off your screens for 1 hour before you go to bed, whether this is laptops, YouTube like now, anything like this. And this is going to basically increase the production of melatonin, which is your sleep hormone, which is otherwise blocked by the blue light that is emitted from these devices. Now, I know what you're going to say, oh, but the devices now, you can turn on blue light blocking and it does yellow light and all this stuff. Yes, you absolutely can. Or you could wear blue light blocking glasses. Again, like, how effective are they? Not that good. Let's be real. The most effective thing you can do is just come off those screens. And the other reason is not just because of the blue light, guys. It's because these devices, whether you realize it or not, are actually elevating your cortisol. They're elevating your stress hormones. They're stressing you out. There's a lot of negative content out there. There's a lot of sort of high tension content, whatever you want to call it. And it's not going to help you when you're trying to come down into a sort of a slumber, when you're trying to get into a restorative, a rested state. If you think about it, sleep is where your heart rate is resting, okay? And this is why we want to stop eating early, because digestion is a metabolic process. It elevates your heart rate, okay? So if your heart rate is elevated, you cannot sleep, or you at least cannot sleep well. It's the same with alcohol, right? Alcohol, if you're drinking, your liver has to process that alcohol. That's a metabolic process. It elevates your heart rate. You're not going to sleep well if you've been drinking the night before, okay? So you want to stop eating 3 hours before you go to bed. Why do you want to stop drinking? Well, if you're like me, I'm 36 years old now. If I drink water or anything right up until the point where I'm about to go to bed, I'm going to wake up once, if not twice in the night. It's going to disrupt my sleep to go to the bathroom. So if we stop drinking 2 hours before bed, yeah, you might still wake up the odd occasion, but for the most part, it has stopped me from waking up in the night, and I'm able to sleep straight through 7 hours a night like a baby. And trust me, well, you don't even need to trust me. You know for yourself. If you work on your sleep and you consciously put effort into it, it's going to make such a difference. And the consistency with the regularity of when you go to bed and when you wake up is also a huge game changer, guys. So I definitely encourage you to do that. A very easy way as well, by the way, and this actually worked for this client very well in particular. When we first spoke, I said to him, what's your kind of caffeine intake like? And he said, oh, I'm having like my last coffee with dinner. And I was like, that was a huge red flag, right? So first of all, one of the biggest things we did was removed a lot of his caffeine intake. Nowadays, he has one coffee in the morning and the rest of the day, he's just drinking decaffeinated tea or coffee, which has hugely helped with that sort of stuff. The other things you can do, magnesium L-threonate is a really good one. And there's one called trazodone, which you can also look into as well. But I'm not a pharmacist, that's the word, pharmacist. So I'm not here, or a doctor, I'm not here to prescribe you or anything like that. Go and do your own research and those stuff. But sleep is going to probably be the biggest needle mover when it comes to your testosterone levels, guys. Getting that really under control is going to help massively. The other thing that I like to think of sleep, guys, is like a catalyst. Sleep is a catalyst because if you wake up and you feel good, you're likely to want to jump out of bed and to do positive stuff and have positive interactions. And if you do all of those things, your life is going to get better. And you're sort of stacking wins based on the fact that you've had a good night's sleep or good night's sleep. So see sleep as a catalyst, see sleep as a tool. Don't see it as like a burden. I think we naturally fight sleep a little bit because when we were children, we were told we had to go to bed, we were given bedtimes, and now we're adults and no one tells us to go to bed. It's like, it's on us to have that sort of discipline around our sleep hygiene. But like, flip it on its head a little bit and see it for the benefits that it gives you. See it as the catalyst that it is. Okay, number 2, diet. One of the biggest things that we did is we took a lot of body fat off of this client. Generally speaking, the higher your body fat, the lower your test levels. Now, of course, there are exceptions to that rule, but it's a pretty general rule. And it's not, an exact science, but testosterone levels are a pretty good indicator, one of many indicators of a man's overall health. Now, of course, this is affected by his age, but if he's in his 30s or his 40s and he's got suboptimal testosterone levels, something's going wrong, right? So if you really get on top of your diet, this is going to massively help you. And when I say get on top of your diet, what I'm talking about is things like having calorie awareness. So what is your maintenance calories? Do you even know? 90% of the population is walking around and eating food impulsively. They're not eating with a plan, they're not following any kind of diet, and they're not doing anything. And you don't have to be very restrictive with this stuff. I really want to make that clear. This client, he didn't live in the gym, he didn't have a restrictive diet, he didn't have to buy any expensive supplements, none of that stuff. It was really coming down to consistency, discipline, focus on these three major things. When it comes to your diet, having some calorie awareness, so knowing what your maintenance calories is your start point. Very simple way to figure out what your maintenance calories is. Take your body weight in pounds, so not in kilos, in pounds, multiply it by 15. Okay? It's a very rough and ready, rudimentary sort of formula that's going to help you find it. It's not exact. When I work with my clients, we have a bit more of an exact science than we do. For someone like yourself who's watching this video, and I don't know your physiology or how active you are or anything like that, all of the things that I need to know, all the metrics I need to know to be able to accurately give you your maintenance calories, you can just use this equation. It's going to help you figure that out. And then what you want to do is put yourself in a calorie deficit. If you need to lose body fat, you need a calorie deficit. So you need to be consuming fewer than you are burning, fewer calories than you are burning, okay? Now, the other way you can create the deficit is by training, and that's going to be the third block, which is what we're going to come on to. Well, not just training, it's just movement in general. But in terms of the diet, some of the ways that you can help yourself out with this, a higher protein diet, which is going to fill you up more, so it's going to kill the hunger a little bit. Eating nutrient-dense, voluminous food like fruit, veg, which is also high in fiber, which is going to be fantastic for your overall digestion and gut health as well, is going to be insane. The other things I'd recommend you doing: less sugar, less processed food, and also more of this, more water, guys. Now, of course, not 2 hours before you go to bed, but during the day, aiming for 3 to 4 liters is going to be a game changer for people, guys. And listen, I know none of this stuff is sexy, but if you can be really honest with yourself and say, and literally write down all the stuff I'm talking about and like put a tick next to each one I've said, how many of these are you actually doing, and how many of them are you doing consistently? If you're ticking every single box and you still feel a bit crap and you haven't, well, first and foremost, go and get a blood test, get your test levels checked, and your test levels aren't going up, maybe you need to look at TRT. But if you could honestly go through everything we've talked about, tick every single one of these boxes and say, yep, I've been doing that, and I've been doing it for 6 months, not 1 week or 3 days or anything like that, then fair enough. But I guarantee you guys, it's not the sexy stuff that moves the needle, it's this stuff. So then last but not least, the third big block, like I sort of alluded to earlier, is your movement. But I'm actually not talking too much about the gym. Yes, we want you in the gym. Yes, we want you resistance training. Yes, we want you doing compound movements. Yes, we want you working multiple muscle groups multiple times per week. But that's all there, that's fine. The biggest needle mover when it comes to movement is going to be your step count. Getting up, getting active, getting outside. And there's a few benefits aside from the calorie burn that steps are going to bring you. First and foremost, it's going to help to activate your parasympathetic nervous system. So your parasympathetic nervous system is linked to rest, relaxation, and recovery. And it's activated when I look up and I look into the distance. If you do that, it's going to help. It's going to rest you and relax you and help you recover. So it's going to help you manage your stress levels. It also means you're getting fresh air. It also means you're elevating your heart rate and helping with good blood flow. It also means you're getting some vitamin D from the sunlight, even if it's gray, by the way. So there's so many benefits to this, but of course the other benefit of the movement and the increased steps is it's going to help you to create that calorie deficit. Because the natural thing people do is they say, okay, calorie deficit, I need to eat less. Well, yeah, that is absolutely one way to do it. And I'd probably encourage you, if you need to lose body fat, to eat a little bit less. But the other way to do it is to move a little bit more. So if you move a little bit more, you've still got that deficit there, right? And the more you move and the less you eat, the bigger the deficit, the faster the fat loss. Now, you want to make that deficit sustainable. You want to make it almost like a healthy lifestyle, but you need it to be consistent. And the best way to do that, eat a little bit less, move a little bit more. So guys, I really hope that was useful. Obviously, if you'd like some more detailed help, if you'd like some personalized advice, drop me a message on Instagram. You can go on my website, you can fill in an inquiry form. Literally just give me your email address. I'll drop you a message straight away. We can have a chat and we can talk about how I can help you some more. But I really hope this video was useful. I hope this was motivating, learning this guy's story. And as always, I'll see you tomorrow.